Well, we did in a way. Everybody here in Pittsville on the Tricolor.
The official opening was... Oh, I didn't hear.
You had your earphones off.
Oh, darn.
You see?
Darn technocracy.
It's technocracy every time. We'll get you in the ears.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce... Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, say less. For them haters that think this shit ain't for real. Yeah.
365, man.
No.
Found out people don't know about it. Nevertheless, I know a lot of things that people don't know. I thought they already knew. But then I came to find out they don't know. When I'm talking about music, I'm not just talking about musicians playing an instrument. Anything is music. You take like a beautiful picture that an artist paints, that's music. Anything that has symmetry to it, and when you look at it, it makes you feel it, is music. because that's what music is all about, feeling.
Should tell you a lot. Should tell you a hell of a lot.
Turn me up some.
Hello, and welcome to today's stream. I'm going to move the mic a little bit closer to me. It is January 23rd of 2022. We're going to be streaming probably for a little bit over an hour today. I did say that the Saturday stream would probably move to Sunday of this week. The Tuesday stream is going to remain a Tuesday stream, hopefully, because I'll be busy all day Wednesday. Thursday stream of next week will have some issues as well, but it might mean the stream is either earlier than intended or later than intended, so that's the change there. Anyways, today we're going to be watching One Punch Man. We're watching the first season. We're doing 3 episodes, which is going to be a little bit over an hour, I believe. I did promise that we were going to do Drifters instead, but here's the issue with Drifters. As I mentioned as well, Drifters is a series that is kind of old now. It's about 2, maybe 3, or even 4 years old now, I think. It's 2022. It might even be 5 years old now. And on top of that, the manga is not getting very many chapters. Hasn't gotten chapters in 2 years, I think. It's almost considered a dead project at this point. And because of that, online streaming services like Crunchyroll, Funimation, and others have dropped their licensing with the series because they have to pay for other series that are much longer and that are continuing. And because of this, I can't share links in the chat. Of course, I could still do it, but the whole principle of the watch-along is that you guys are watching along with me. That way we can key up the video so that when I talk over it or you guys talk over in chat, it's connected. We understand what we're talking about. It's a connected experience. There are ways of watching the series, but it is illegal, and I cannot put those links in chat because it is against TOS. It's promoting illegal content, and that is a no-no on Twitch. Yes, I'm aware that the likelihood that Twitch fining me, given that they don't seem to have much of an automated system, is very little. But because I'm not some streamer who can get slapped on the wrist 3 times and still come back, or stream a full fucking episode or full season of an anime and get away with it, I am not going to test those boundaries. You know, we're not even an affiliate yet. So we're doing One Punch Man. It's the first season. It's episodes 1, 2, and 3. I have graphics and everything, so when you look on screen, you'll be able to see. Actually, let me switch the screens right now. Jibby should still be lowered. I'm going to turn off the chat box. Actually, no, I'll leave the chat box there. It doesn't matter. So here's a graphic for episode 1, 2, and have all the way up till 6. So we can technically do a stream on Tuesday continuing this. Which we very well might if you guys want, because might as well just get all the graphics out of the way. It would be a shorter stream, of course. It would be episodes 4, 5, and 6, but so be it. It's still fun, I think. The reason why I chose One Punch Man after realizing I couldn't do Drifters is because I am currently creating an explained video for One Punch Man, which is to come out this following week. Unless you live in a different time zone in which it's this week. But in Eastern Standard Time, it is the following week that's coming. So I already have the graphics pre-made. Everything was set up. And it doesn't hurt to watch the series again to get the format and hopefully implement that into the video aesthetically. You know, pronunciations and everything like that. It's important to watch the series again while making a video on it. I've also started writing some scripts about some of the reasons why I like the series. One of them is more concerned about the second season, which we're not going to be watching today. Maybe in the future we could consider doing season 2 of things, but I feel like it's a bit inappropriate if we don't go through the first season in its entirety together. It feels weird. Regardless, that's what we're doing today. Basically, if you have any questions, leave them in chat. I will give you a 3-second countdown before we hit start. We watch intros and we watch outros, of course. There's no fuck around there. I'm going to get my link ready. I had one ready, but now I'm thinking, maybe I'll use another. So Crunchyroll, there's one little thing with Crunchyroll, and a few other, I suppose. Crunchyroll has ads in it. I am not going to watch Crunchyroll or use Crunchyroll for my viewing experience. That's not to say that Crunchyroll is bad. Highly recommend it. It just means if you guys get hit with an ad, you might be a little bit delayed in watching this together with us, but that's fine. It shouldn't be too long of a delay, and there will be an after minute talk or two after each episode, so that little extra minute or so you can get caught up with us again, and then we can continue. I have 2 links in chat, one's for Netflix, one's for Crunchyroll. They should both work like it's not the same thing as the Adult Swim link I had for Cowboy Bebop last time. It's not region locked as far as I'm aware. But if you have any issues, let me know. Of course, you can find your own personal links. I just can't promote them on Twitch. So, and I would highly recommend that you guys support creative people properly through legal links, honestly. That's my opinion. And with that said, I think we should hit start. We're, again, watching intros, watching outros. You guys don't hear you're not going to hear the episode, and you're not going to see the episode. All you're going to hear is me and Jippy. I'm going to turn Jippy up a little bit more than it is. That's all you're going to hear from the stream. You're going to have to watch it along with us, and it's basically the same as us watching it together on Discord or on a couch in person together or something like that. You know, that's the principle of the watch along. I started doing this because of the whole thing that was happening with the bigger guys, and I thought, well, I really want to evolve and hopefully make this into a format that works. Right now, I feel like there's still something missing, a little more interactivity that's missing in this, but we'll develop it as we go along, and hopefully we can find a formula that works for us, and hopefully maybe even allow other people to partake in that formula. Anyways, we're all set to go on this end. I hope you guys are as well. We're starting with episode 1, which is The Strongest Man. I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to move the chat box up here so it's above the episode. There you go. Anyway, so yeah, it's the first 3 episodes we're watching. We're on episode 1. I'm going to click start in 3, 2, 1. There you go. Turn my volume down a little bit. So it's season 1, episode 1, The Strongest Man. What I really like about One Punch Man is how it subverts expectations, and I mean I've read a little bit of the manga, not much. How it subverts expectations and kind of breaks genre tropes like crazy, and does so straight from the start. I feel like the explain video that I'm doing is going to be really interesting for a lot of people. For me, it's personally encouraging that the history of One Punch Man. It started off as a webcomic that was like really poor in terms of critic. Hold on, I'm pausing. I don't want to watch the sub. I thought Netflix was dubbed. Am I crazy? I thought it was dubbed. Hold on. I'm going to hit restart on this. I'm going to watch the dub instead. My bad, guys. Makes it easier for me. Apologies. Alright, I got my link again. Sorry. There you go. Alright, sorry. 3, 2, 1. Click. My bad. Should have screened it before. I've never watched anime on Netflix before. So maybe there is a way to switch it quickly to a dub, but I'm not sure. Again, we're starting from the beginning. Sorry. We're figuring it out now. So you guys can watch, obviously, sub if you want, though, of course. I'm more of a dub person myself for a lot of anime. I think there's very few anime that I think that the dub is lesser. I think Goblin Slayer has a little bit. Like, I like Goblin Slayer and dub, but I think the sub works a little better. think some of the jokes from One Punch Man just don't hit me when they're not in English. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But, I don't know, for me to enjoy a little bit more and make commentary, it needs to be in English. But yeah, I enjoy the series. It's genre breaking of really the superhero genre in general, I guess. But season 2, it has a lot of shit that's like story format breaking. Like the main villain of the second season is incredibly unique, and I think is something that a lot of people should take inspiration from when creating stories, because that villain is incredibly, I'm using incredibly a lot, but is super, like, empathetic. Like, you can root for that villain without issue. I first got introduced to this series by Bill Burr. I like the designs of One Punch Man. And One, who's the author's name is One, and he was also the person who designed much of the characters originally, though in a much more crude style than what you see in the manga and what you see in the anime, of course, which was designed by a guy named Murata. But One, as he explains in an interview from a few years ago, because Saitama, who's the main character, in case you're unaware, that's his name, because he's able to solve conflicts with a single punch, he's able to do a lot of like crazy shit, like without issue. So he can create a character like we just saw in the first season, in the first episode, who is intense. That character that in Dragon Ball, I'm sure there's a lot of Dragon Ball references, but I can't remember what the correct word is, but like the way that character is designed in the first episode, the Vaccine Man, he's very similar to many villains in Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball Z, maybe not Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and that kind of an enemy could take up an entire season. And so you can have these like insane designs, characters, and everything, and then have them be resolved rather quickly without issues. And you can do all of that without creating something stale or something that feels rushed, because that's the point, you know. It's basically it's breaking storytelling format, like in a really good way, because it's still enjoyable. Like he can solve every fucking villain plot with one punch, so nothing holds a significant like danger. But yet you can't stop yourself from feeling that there's a sense of danger, because of how many other pre-existing examples there are of where, for example, this lobster guy or this crab guy would fucking be like the crazy villain, and you have to worry about him killing a bunch of people. Yeah, I love the designs. Sensor is one of my key reasons I like this series. like villains hold an equally equal danger level in the second season. They're just a little bit more enjoyable in the second season of the anime, obviously. I don't know about whatever arcs and shit that is, and I think it's a Hero Association arc or Monster Association arc in the manga that's more enjoyable. I think what makes the series good and why it goes so well with its comedy is because it was originally designed as a webcomic that was a pure passion project. So you have like these really weird fucking designs for characters like this Chin Kid, which is like maybe you wouldn't really have that outside a webcomic. It turned manga, turned anime. The only thing I don't like about the second season of the anime, because everything else I do, is the I couldn't use a towel. Fuck me. It's the colors of the second season that I'm not a huge fan of. Though I have intentions of writing a review, I would point out that it makes the season feel warmer, which I think is intended. I think one, it kind of intends it for it to be like this whole thing's happening in California or something, like some really, I don't know, or some really hot place in Japan, or even just to give the same vibes as most like Marvel movies, or whatever, where it is set in California, where it's much warmer. The characters look tanned in the second season, whereas in the first they look a little bit dreary, a little bit. There's nothing wrong with the dreary design, obviously. Murata has also done some stuff with DC heroes. In case you're really not a fan of anime, but you kind of like the design, there's a lot of stuff that he's done that's outside of the animated or Japanese world that you can go and look at. It's quite interesting. I remember Bill Burr just mentioned that he got into the series because it was a bald character, and he was like, you don't see much of that in media. And it's true. I don't really, I mean, when I was a kid you saw even less. I mean, you got that whole fucking Boba Fett series coming out soon. You know what I like about Japanese animation as well, or Japanese storytelling? And this is a real like niche thing to like about it. So a lot of the characters are fucking dirt poor, and or like not really dirt poor. They're not like fucking like gutter rats or whatever. Like they're not like living in sewers. They're not like one of those people in Vegas who lives in the tunnels, which is a real thing, by the way. You can go look that up if you want. I'd recommend it because it's quite sad. But like they're on the lower end of the middle class, which I think is like a lot of people are there. You know, I think it's just more relatable, a little bit more enjoyable. Again, this Bicep King, that alone could have been an entire animated series or manga, obviously, on its own. I've never read any fan fiction or fan stories for One Punch, but I kind of hope that someone's taking advantage of all these like minor stories and making them or extending them. So also this book called One Borough One or something like that. I mentioned my explain video that's coming out soon, and it shows a shit ton of concept designs for most of the characters, including this villain, which are very interesting, because this one villain went under like 7 or 8 different iterations. Because like I said, it started off as a webcomic, and unless you've seen the webcomic, you're really not going to get what I'm saying. Webcomic was not, arguably, in a matter of my own opinion, that great visually. Obviously has its place and everything, but it's not nearly on the same level as the manga. And so obviously there was a lot of iterations to change it to manga standards. So it's a huge difference between what this villain looks like in the webcomic and what he looks like on the actual manga. So even this is like a satire. This fighting scene kind of reminds me of like Newgrounds animation in terms of how like elastic everything is. Which we are still in episode 1, so it makes sense that there's kind of more implements of that style. It's fucking. I think one thing that I wish One Punch Man covered a little bit more, because they do cover a tiny bit in some parts, was the aftermath of stuff. I kind of would like enjoy an animated series about just like monster cleanup. I think there's probably already a series like that. I've seen a series about space cleanup, which I thought was really enjoyable, where they clean up all like the fucked up rubbish of shit in space. Imagine an entire series about like getting rid of that giant fucker. Like that wouldn't be easy. I think the One Punch Man story is really, like, if you want to write your own story, I feel like One Punch Man is a really good thing to watch. Because it's a, like I said, it's a whole story building like collapse about like general formatting. It can help you be more creative if you watch something like this, I feel like. That's a lot of eggs. I never understood why there's green water in bass in anime, but I've also never bothered researching that in Japanese culture. It must be something that I'm just not understanding, some sort of body soap or something. Oh, I want to do a video just about the snot bubble. That shit's like a trope that you don't really see much like now, but older anime used to be a big trope. Even the subterranean one, I've seen concept designs for that. There are a few pages of that book that I mentioned available online for free, and I believe they're legal. Basically, it's like a teaser or like a pull-in for you buying the book. I like how the structure of characters implies and or shows emotion. So just looking at the design can tell you what they're feeling. You don't have to hear what they're saying or care for their expression per se, but just the way lines are drawn and everything. You understand flow, the tension, how the scene is being conducted, what's happening in the full broader scene. There are a few series like that, I think, but I don't think there are many that do as well as One Punch Man. I think second season kind of lapses on that a little bit. Again, I think like 90% of the hate the second season gets of One Punch Man is unfounded. So if you've seen the first season and you haven't seen the second season because of comments or reviews or anything you've seen about it, I would recommend that you ignore them and just watch it anyways. It's quite enjoyable. Really hoping that we get a third season soon. It's not entirely certain when. I haven't read anything that's like properly like it's a proper link or anything, or there's proper sources. I feel like the concept for One Punch Man is something that you would see, like if you were going to see this outside of this, it would be more with a villain than it would be for a hero. You know, concept of someone losing their humanity, it's kind of more fitting of a villain than a hero. feel like One Punch Man designs are very inspiring for me. I get a desire to draw and create stuff when I watch One Punch. Or any other heavily stylized anime or manga. You know, I was talking about design about before, how you can look at design and then know the context of the whole. Like, look at, in the scene where the dream is happening, you should look at Saitama's eyes and notice how they're, like, exactly the same as they were when he had hair and he was fighting the fucking crab guy. Like, that tells you the emotion. His eyes tell you the emotion. The way they're designed tells you what's happening. I think a lot of modern anime, I can't speak to too much manga because I don't read a whole lot of manga, but a lot of modern anime kind of loses that or doesn't really do that. I'm certain that there are, but I think a majority of them don't rely on their design to tell the story, which is a shame because it's an interesting way of doing it, but it takes a lot of time and creativity, I guess, so that's why most people probably avoid it. I watched the whole outro. I think the outro is quite funny in comparison to the whole. I feel like you could slap the ending for the first season onto like any slice of life fucking animated series and it would work fine. Or even there's a bunch of series you could slap that at the end of. Which I think is another genre thing. That kind of like genre breaking trope. Really gotta start watching the outros more for animated series because I've never seen this before. This last little bit here. Oh, even the ending in the dubbed is in sub? Alright, now we're on to episode 2. I will change the graphic here. And I will do the 3-second countdown again. There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 2. I hope you kind of like this format, or you like to watch alongs, whatever. And I would recommend or encourage you to tell other streamers about this format, because the more that this gets developed, the less likely you'll have situations where you have hype people getting away with streaming full-blown fucking episodes of shit. You know, like instead of like defacing the platform and allowing those people, because I think it would have been insane if the platform outright banned them, because it's such a huge money pool. But there was no way that they were going to ban them. I think anyone who actually believed that Pokemon and Toast should have been banned, it's insane, because the rules that apply to the rest of us do not apply to them, and they never will, unless we manage to get up there at some point. Regardless, I think that if we encourage people to do this kind of a format, a watch-along format, then we're better off. Anyways, for episode 2, it is, of course, the Lone Cyborg, and I'm going to do a countdown from 3 to 1, and then we're going to hit start. That means intro and outro are being played back to front, and we might be able to do episode 3. Yeah, we're going to do episode 3 today as well. So, 3. I'm watching dub still, and we're on episode 2, season 1. So, on 1, from a countdown of 3, we're going to start. So 3, 2, 1, and play. Okay. know Saitama's apartment is like tiny, and you kind of meant to like pity him for that. But I kind of like the size of his apartment and the design and overlay. I mean, I would like it depending on the rent. I don't think there's any other instances in the entire series where you get sort of that semi-body horror that you get from this episode. I think maybe in the manga towards the Monster Association arc you kind of do. I'm not going to spoil that, but I think you do there. Look how do you see that? The fucking little elephant container there rocked slightly when he like flashed towards it. Such a nice little detail. It's not necessary at all. Doesn't convey anything. The what are those? The sort of title cards that the series that One Punch has kind of reminds me of the title cards or eye catchers for Dr. Stone a little bit, just in terms of texture, really. Just, there's a realistic grit in those cards. That lightning on the road part of the intro reminds me of some film studio that I can't remember. It used to be really popular. I believe they made Ghost Rider. The fucking, if you've ever seen Ghost Rider, the film, obviously, the older films. So much shit going on in the intro. He's just punching a fucking, like, happy star. Do you see that shit? In case you're curious, because it's never mentioned explicitly, he can't fly. He just fucking jumps. There's a lot of instances where I think that's a little bit unclear. And I think that if you're a kind of person that doesn't think beyond too much what they're shown, which is fine, you know, the world needs people like that too. Yeah, he just pushes down really hard and off. All of this, how the fuck do you even move with all of this? See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't think there's any other instances of body horror within this series that's as creepy as this. There are horror anime that is fucking less scary than this shit. I like this villain too because of the, I don't know, I'm a texture guy. I like when 2D illustrations have 3D or the false elements of 3D. Like dimensionality within 2D art is really enjoyable to me. I don't know the smell of that. I feel like that would stink. I think the manga makes a little bit more of a joke or of like a commentary on this whole battle with mosquitoes. I think Saitama explicitly says that he's so powerful that he can squish a mosquito in the back of an eye or something like along those lines. And of course he's not able to do that, so it's proof that though he's powerful, there's still room for growth. Maybe more say as a character than an actual like hero. I think that she is organic, so that's fucking crazy that she just ripped her legs off and there's just nothing, like nothing's happening. It's fucking weird. What I like about, like, there is an example of, like, actions have repercussions in this series, because this city, which is a little bit of a spoiler, it's called City Z, I believe, or I think it's City Z, becomes, like, it becomes devoid of human life and everything, and it's, like, seen as, like, a fucking, like, no man's land. And the fact that all the fucking animals are gone and all the humans had to keep leaving because of these villains and everything. Like, I like that there's that after effects thing going on. Here's another design element that I like too. I think this scene would have looked a little bit strange, but a lot warmer if it was on the second season's style. Like the pure heat that kind of gives off. That's insane. About melting streets, basically. When I first saw that overview, I thought that red was like heated asphalt, but it's blood, of course. It's literally just a shot of her ass. It's literally nothing beyond that. Her design shift is cool too. The way the colors change. Even the color of her hair has changed. And the wings too. But it's still recognizable even through that change. But I think something a lot of fighting anime or manga or fighting stories do wrong is when they do these changes, where it's like, oh, the villain's gotten stronger. It's like they kind of just don't look like the same villain anymore. Blech. Splits the fucking... I'm assuming that's the other guy doing that is splitting the clouds. Because it wouldn't make sense if that was Saitama doing that. I like the guitar riffs of the eye catchers too, but you can't listen to them on their own. They sound awful on their own, in my opinion. So I was listening to them to make the eye catchers for the explain video, and they're very gritty. But maybe that's just a matter of opinion. To me, there's too much grit to it. Now I can say his name and refer to him as Genos. I knew his name before, but it was like, I don't know if it's a spoiler to tell you that his name is Genos. That tea is the same color as the fucking bathwater. Mostly mechanical. So what the fuck is human about him? I like this shift in simplicity. Genos' backstory is fucking weird. I think Saitama is 24, and I believe in the second season Genos is 18, maybe, or 19. Oh, so he's 20. Oh, 19, sorry. What? He said he was... Oh, 19, sorry, yeah, so he's 20 in the second season. There are a bunch of, I don't know what the right words are. There are a bunch of episodes or things outside the seasons, OVAs, sorry, that are really, really fun. They're more focused on other characters than Saitama, of course, but they're really fun to watch. I watched them after I watched the second season, which might have been a bad idea, but and we're not going to watch them today because they're a whole separate thing. Like, they're not really available on Netflix or Crunchyroll. You have to find other alternatives of seeing them because they're usually on DVD. But they're really good. If you can watch them in order and watch like the episode that's necessary and then the OVA, it's pretty good to do it like that. And it's a lot easier to do that than in other series. To me, he sounds like Senku from Dr. Stone when he's yelling there, but I don't think it's the same voice actor. It might be, but I don't think so. And see, the thing is, when I do the Explain series, I like learn so much shit about the series. And I just become a total fucking nerd for this series. Like how the tea is still fucking full. just wasn't paying attention to his story. Oh, so he's 25. Sorry. There's another character that's 24. But you don't meet her till later. See, there you go. That was an eye catcher. Fucking, like, piece of music. You see, it doesn't really work there. It doesn't flow that well for me. He's dead. See, a lot of people complain about the way metal is designed in the second season. I've seen that. But I feel like the big metal characters within the first season have that same kind of texture that they have in the second season. Just with a little bit more. It's like, I don't know. I still don't get why the second season got as much shit as it did. I think it's literally just a matter of change. You can see the fucking text on the ground dragon move. I like the movement of the fucking gorilla there, beating his chest through the air, his like arms still swinging as he's falling down. The fact that the metal has gotten so hot that it's like become a little bit more white, and then slowly cools down to be a bit darker. I believe that's intentional. It'd be insane if that wasn't. Jerk off. I haven't heard that in a while. A special pants place. I like how some characters kind of become aware of how Saitama is like incredibly strong. Like Ground Dragon there is like still sweating and backing up a little bit after just watching him pull himself on the ground like it was nothing. But then you have this fucking guy who just doesn't give a shit. I like the inked look of this beast character. Again, more satire on the fucking superhero genre. Even this shit's funny too. Again, like the fact that this city is like inhospitable, like it's like all fucked up. Blech. Like a bloodshot eye. All fucked up. I don't know if that blood splatter remains. And that's where the episode ends. I'm trying to think if that blood stain continues, because I know that the destruction of the street remains. I have to pay attention to that when I rewatch the series in its entirety. Yeah, we can do episode 3. Feels so weird listening to the outro. Again, I just never listened to it. The only series I ever listened to the outro a little bit was Cowboy Bebop. And that was just because there was shit being shown that was like kind of like important to the overall story, which I mentioned last time we did the watch along. I don't know. If you haven't seen, you should also check out, I don't know if Murata himself posted the pictures on Twitter, but there are pictures of Murata's daughter, her drawings going around, or they might have already made their rounds, and she's really fucking good too. So, definitely passes in the genes, the fucking artistic style of shit. Obsessive scientist. Right. Episode 3. Here we go. Load it up. Page. Not gonna hit play yet, of course. I'm gonna do the countdown again. So it's episode 3 now, which is the obsessive scientist. Hope you guys have the link ready. I'm gonna count down from 3 to 1 and then hit play on 1 again, as per usual. This is episode 3, season 1 that we're launching now. So 3, 2, 1. There you go. I think some of the music could go with a lot of different series as well. Like the music you're listening to right now could be put in Monster, for example. Like it's not entirely unique to One Punch, but I think that's fine. I mean, the whole point of One Punch is it's meant to make fun. It's supposed to be satire, so it's fine. Reptilian, amphibian. It's an interesting take. So the first moon landing was like a fucking crash and burn. But those people still survived. Again, an entire animated series or manga could be done on that. Ten words or less. 20 words then less. I like this character. I like this episode as well because these characters. This is a minor spoiler, I suppose. They make a return, but a bunch of people make returns. But there are a few characters that are introduced that don't come back. At the very least, in the background. Like, I can't think of... Obviously, they're the... For example, when he was buying the fucking... the crab legs or whatever... in episode 1. The people you see in the fucking grocery store don't make an appearance again. But, you know... We don't get characters established with those people. They're just props. But we're getting character, this ape guy... and the scientist guy. So they make returns. Unless they die, of course, and they don't make a return. So that the insect girl, as far as I'm aware, I don't believe she makes a return. Even the intro is like unique and kind of like breaking the genre. There's a guy on a fucking bike in the intro. Like it was like too bad. He's not being like a jackass or anything. See, I like that little tidbit of Genesis' story there. I like how they acknowledge, like, instead of being like, oh, those guys were just fucking, like, shit or whatever. We now know that they're shit. They're actually changing it. I also like how the background image there on the fucking computer actually shows shit. So I believe the mosquito girl is on there. Excuse me. Let's see. I guess they do mention it. He's always on time. Well, I like how you get this instance where I take this as Genos trying to like prove himself to his master. So he's like, oh, now I get what Saitama's thing is. It's just hit everything, like be efficient. He thinks that Saitama is all about efficiency. So this is kind of him flexing to Saitama. He's like, oh, I understand how you work, master. Everyone in this series like pops like a worm. Ever stepped in a worm before? That's what all this shit reminds me of. Like his design works in like Space Dandy, for example. His design is so fucking weird. I feel like they do this a lot in the series where they make a character muscular, use a lot of muscle, and you just see a lot of like that sort of high texture around textural points, like muscle points, like his necks and at his arms and stuff. Like right at the upper shoulder, you see a lot of it, and around his neck. I like how Saitama is like, I don't feel anything, but all the other, every episode proves that he does feel shit. Where's the scientist, dude? It's also got kind of that JoJo villain vibes of like really like perverted, like stretching nature of the face and everything. again, I will say this again. One Punch Man is really good for like, you know, like to get the creative juices flowing. In this one scene, we're seeing everything Genos has up until that point, like all at once. Like that's a full character, like ability list that we've just seen. Kind of burn that you get in the ground there is interesting too. It's an added detail. It's not. I mean, it'd feel weird if it wasn't there, but there's definitely a lot of series that would ignore like cracks and burn marks and scudges and everything like that. Because in truth, there would be probably more than just that single path of burn, since we saw several jets of heat being done by Genos. Like that one trail that was from the entrance all the way to where Cavatops or whatever the fuck his name was. And he writes fucking big. He's also running from left to right. Like I was talking about, still gives a shit too. Like he's caring for Genos, although somewhat in the joking manner. Why focusing on the hair rather than the cracked facial features and arms and everything like that. See, I think that grin is sort of a reminiscence of Space Dandy in a way. I like that kind of design of like that charcoaly like rubbing texture. Again, acknowledgement that he's fucking strong. I feel like that kind of doesn't happen later on. But maybe it is important that it only happens at the beginning. It's like these are the questions that people watching this are having for the first time. Genos, Saitama, Carnage. Even this training regimen is bullshit, by the way. It's not. The series gets more complex about how Saitama got his powers, but like you have to remember why he's doing all this shit. He's also fighting like more of those dudes, more of those like fucking crab kind of guys, you know, and the mole people. Like, he's fighting villains as well. So on top of all this shit he's done, which people have done, by the way, there's videos on YouTube of people doing this shit, and they do get fucking jacked. But he's also fighting like crazy mutated villains and shit, which is extending even more muscles further. Kind of interesting how Saitama's apartment changes. He goes from having a level ground apartment to having a second or a third story apartment. I think it's kind of interesting. Again, you can tell in design that Saitama was being sort of serious, but not incredibly serious. Or incredibly truthful, at least. Because his eyes aren't as angular as they've been. Maybe for you. Regime also wouldn't work for a cyborg. No, it's not true. I mean, I don't. That's not really a spoiler because it's kind of based off of what we've already seen, just more of what we've already seen later in this season and into the next. Like as he expands, there's like fissures where there's like that green underneath. I think the instances where Saitama gets beat up is also enjoyable. Like, you don't get a lot of like these extreme moments where like this one punch, for example, in Dragon Ball or whatever, would be like the end of a character. Whereas you can see it 3, 4, 5 times, whatever. You get the dopamine rush like crazy. You only get once or twice in other fighting series. Again, design of Saitama, you know he's being serious, that he's thinking, that there's something going on. again, acknowledgement that Saitama is like fucking insane. Character development. It's good. Again, villains get character development in this series. They become cool. This is the only story that I've read in my lifetime so far where I actually actively enjoy the villains. Like, I know people like fucking Darth Vader or whatever in Star Wars, but it's not the same. For like, Darth Vader works as a villain. That's it. And then he becomes a hero. And then, so he works as a hero. Like, he works as two separate things, you know? Like, you like him for being a villain. Whereas you like the villains in this series because they're characters. Like, there's a difference there, you know? Like, you like them because they're individuals with just strange tendencies, you know? It's different. I can't really explain it. I'm still trying to find my words for a video I want to do about it. It's like the villains operate on an entirely unique level to other stories, in my opinion. We'll watch the whole outro. But this is going to be the end of the stream. We probably will return on... Maybe on Tuesday we'll do more. We'll do the last 3 episodes. Like I said, it's a shorter... It's a 30-minute less stream. That's fine. I have a lot of shit to do today, so... I can't... I have to end the stream here. I can't do another episode. Let's watch the outro though. See what. It's gonna tell us what the next episode is, anyways. But I have graphics up until the 7th episode, but we're only gonna do 3 more the next time. Acknowledgement of aftermath. Something that doesn't happen in a lot of superhero series. I like how they see that, but they don't acknowledge Saitama's like fucking entire apartment district near that highway or whatever that was. Like, that whole road, that whole strip is fucked up. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I'm going to see you on Tuesday of the next week. We're probably going to continue this or play some Project Zomboid, one or the other. All the VODs are going to be uploaded later today to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to fix and tweak up the About section of this channel so that you can find more links for Jippy and for the YouTube channel, with the Kingdom Live. So keep an eye on that, and of course keep an eye on my Twitter, because I'll try and keep you guys posted. I meant to post a thing yesterday about not being able to stream, but I'll talk about it later. Anyways, see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Like MJ holding the monkey.
Keep it moving, yeah. Keep it moving, yeah. Keep it moving, yeah. Keep it moving, yeah. I spill some Henny, then I keep it moving, yeah. 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 I spill some Henny, then I keep it moving, yeah. Keep it moving, yeah. Keep it moving, yeah.